you look carefully, that really shiny, silvery looking mirror type object, if I move the camera, gets the glare off the water, it takes the glare off that object as well. It's very reflective. And what that is, the little piece there. So on the tip of my finger, it's absolutely clear. It cracks like glass, so I don't think it's a fish scale. And it's just this little super thin piece of something. And this whole beach down here, it's just washing up very light on the surface. Over here, you'll notice there's some actual black sands showing up. So, rock here, this is very smooth bedrock, which is typically not something that contains a lot of gold. Far side, you've got all this moss and just a short little bit down. So somewhere on the bottom of here, if you were to get in there by hand and just pick through a few little boulders and dig down and scoop something out to put into a gold pan, I think with this smooth bedrock, it might not be super great, but I am super curious. I wish I had my gold pan with me. Certainly interesting. I am going to start packing a little mini gold pan on these hikes because the beauty of a creek like this is just unreal. Like, treacherous terrain to try to walk around the thing, but it's gorgeous. Right in front of my hand, by the way, there's this, get the focus on that, and look at this. I don't think it'll ever focus, but you'll notice that this thing is basically just magically hovering. There's the tiniest little piece of a spider web. There, haha, focusing on a spider web. Good job, camera. And that is what is hanging and dangling this beautiful stick. This is just, I'm assuming, quartz. And in the quartz, there's a little bit of mineralization in there. So, you know, it's pretty and it's interesting. This, remember all those little shiny, thin, glassy pieces? I think that's what I'm looking at in this rock because the way it reflects in the light, it's like it's built in. Then, this rock is what first caught my eye. It looks like visible gold is in this rock. So right at the tip of my thumb there, sort of like a coppery golden color. Doesn't look crystallized like pyrite. But I know there's so many minerals that look like gold. I just don't really know what this is. And this is probably the closest looking to gold stuff. That little section there, it's super mineralized. I'm assuming this is basically a piece of a quartz vein that's heavily mineralized. And what really strikes me is right on this side, right by my thumb, it's just absolutely gold colored. So it'd be worth bringing these home, crushing them up, and seeing how this behaves in a pan. They'll probably be brittle and light and not gold, but kind of cool. And the final little baby rock, it might just be because it's wet, but this entire thing looks like it has little speckles of gold just evenly mixed in. Like somebody mixed up a batch of quartz, poured in some tiny little gold flakes, gold dust, more of that gold colored stuff. So this is certainly strange. There's your highway bridge, sort of center frame there. The creek running below. If I pan up here, there's a little bit of a ledge. So you'll see it right at that elevation. And I believe it's just an old walking trail. The sign says it's closed because a bridge is damaged. So maybe there's a bridge if I keep hiking that's damaged, which would be cool to see. And then right over here, there's this hole in the ground. So I don't get it. Because it's very rocky here. These are very straight edges, obviously dug out. I'll just put myself into frame for scale. Of course, I'm in the foreground, so I don't know how well this will work, but I'm gonna guess 6 feet long and 3 feet wide. So I could picture this as being like maybe an old cement foundation for something that would have crossed across here, but it just doesn't make any sense. Not really a gold bearing area. I'm assuming that based on the amount of moss and growth and stuff that is here, this is a much, much deeper hole. Like, I would assume it's at least 6 feet deep, and it's just sort of filled in over time. Just in this area with the amount of deadfall that comes down and moves around every year, for the amount of growth around the edges, this is filled over many, many years. I have no idea what this might be. And then just over here from it, again, my foot for scale, there's just a little dugout. Sort of like a depression, something that's been sinking in. This could easily be like, okay, it's an animal doing something. Pretty much unhiked area. Like, I haven't seen any evidence of other people out here. As I'm walking along, there's another disturbed spot in the ground. So if I put my hand here, straight edge, a little square. No indication of any dirt piled around this or that this was done recently. Kind of like this was a deep hole in the ground. Something got pulled out, maybe an old piling for something, I don't know. And I thought I saw something up here as well. Yes, there's another one. Not a square, almost a bit of a triangular edge here. Like, these weren't done by a specific machine. And the last one of these was, well, you might be able to see there's a big hole in the ground, that big hole in the ground back there. There was one right next to it, one here, one right where I'm standing. And I think I see one off in this direction. Yeah, there it is. That's the cool thing. Sometimes we get to Google everything immediately. What is this? And then you know. And it's kind of fun to wonder, because I have no clue what this stuff might be. None whatsoever. Definitely a flat bench area here. But this is a bigger, wider one. This might be more natural. And keep exploring. As the trail continues, some more absolutely gorgeous things of mushrooms. Call this mushroom number 5. What is this thing? It looks really cool. And of course there's a banana slug going on a nice trip. So the trail finally did actually turn into almost a trail again. Pretty cool spot. Go see if there's a bridge. Looks like an old handrail, but get this. This handrail was probably just nailed to a tree. There's your original nail. I guess it was kind of cut in actually, but wow, it's been a while. Look at the way that's just growing around it. Nature sure is resilient. Swimming pool around there. Ice cold. First, I was lost. Now, I am found. This is supposed to be a little stretch my legs on a drive home kind of a hike, so I'm a little bit deep into the wilderness on a closed trail without my bear spray. So I tend to sing to myself a little bit just to announce my arrival so you don't startle any territorial critters. I'm assuming Cedar Falls is just around that corner. Looks like a pretty steep bedrock canyon. Trail heads up over here. Let's go have a quick look at that. Bum bum ba da da ba da 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 bum bum ba da 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 da. Hey little bears, do not come and eat me. Hey little bears, please do not eat me. Hey little bridge, please do not collapse. Ooh, that's nicely to code, I'm sure. It's kind of too bad this trail's closed. Ooh. This is nice, get a little blood flow going before sitting in the car for a while. I'd like to come back here and have a little longer. There's a sign up ahead. It reads Hemlock Falls. So let's go check those out. And once we get there, adventure turns around for now. It's actually a nice little trail run. I'll jangle some rocks in my pocket. More shrooms. Hear the waterfall ahead. Terrible bouncy video for YouTube because I'm a professional YouTuber. Oh! Hot dang! Whoa, it's a little bit of a 4x4 trail to get down here. That is absolutely breathtaking. Getting a little bit close to water level. An old rotten tree here. Is that a chaga? And of course, just the silhouette going up of more those little mushroom shells sticking off the side of this thing all the way up. One tree dies and so much life comes from it. Absolutely gorgeous mushrooms coming out here. Must be that type of year. Okay. This appears to be a makeshift railing. Holding a camera, bad idea. But we're gonna make it to the water's edge. That is so interesting. I was thinking beavers for a second, but I don't think this is beaver territory. I'm pretty sure this is just the way a log jam kind of naturally formed, because you can see it's all full of gravel up here and everything. And the stream just sort of weaves out through the gravel there. You wouldn't want to go swimming right there. You get sucked underneath, pinned in there. It doesn't take a lot of water to pin you. So anything in this stream, I would say, is a no-go. But that, I mean, it's just such a beautiful location. September 28th. I'm a terrible judge of water temperature. It's not as cold as it could be, but it's cold. So I probably should have done this closer to the car. I have no towel, I have no swim trunks. I'm just in one of those feel alive kind of moods right now. I wouldn't call it reckless. It's just sometimes it feels good to just do things. So I decided to go for a swim. And the trick is, well, like, the point isn't to have a swim. I don't even know if I can include this because, you know, I'll be naked. I have no swim trunks, but maybe once I'm in, just a head up. This type of experience, if you haven't ever heard of a guy named Wim Hof, WIMHOF. Changed my life a few years back. He's called the Iceman, and he basically just jumps into cold water. But there's sort of a process, start with cold showers, and it becomes something where you get this real dopamine hit from it. Never would have expected that, but it's incredible what the body can do. And the feeling of exhilaration after hopping into ice cold water and knowing that you're not just gonna freeze to death and die, worth checking the guy out. It's really interesting. He's got this whole breathing technique that makes it way less painful. Careful out there, nobody go drown. But how is that? Like, just a little meditative moment alone in the middle of nowhere, swimming underneath that thing, taking some really deep breaths full of nature, and just feeling that pure sensation of being alive that you get from jumping into ice cold water. This is going to be magical. Surprisingly, I'm not shivering right now. There's something that happens when you shock your body like that. Just pumps you full of adrenaline and endorphins, good feelings. So I think as quick as it's safe to do so, trip back to the cars, made a nice slow trail run. Thanks for joining me on my crazy little adventure. And again, check out the Wim Hof Method. That guy, he's changing lives. It absolutely changed my life a few years ago. If you're ever feeling depressed or down, you do something like this, you connect with nature, you connect with your body. You're thinking about nothing else when you're in that cold water. And then you just take in that waterfall over your head. Absolutely phenomenal. I feel so good right now. All right. Jog it on home. I can't actually put my finger on it, but I don't think that water was that cold. I think instead of being glacier fed, which is literally 0 degrees Celsius, it's like rain fed and groundwater fed. And so it probably gets a little temperature boost from that. I don't know what that temperature boost is, but let's say it's 5 degrees Celsius. There's a difference between 5 and 0. And it's that difference between mind-numbingly painful cold and actually a really exhilarating swim. So the path back is going to be different than the path I took here, because I actually found a path. So we'll see where it spits me out on the highway. See if there's a more serious trail closed sign than the one I saw earlier.